Unlike certain members of the Cleveland Cavaliers, you are listening to the show that always knows what the score is. It's the Mike Sasson Show, broadcasting here from beautiful Mr. Smalls Theater in exquisitely beautiful Millvale, Pennsylvania. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for watching. We all appreciate you out there. My name is Mike Sasson. I am your host today. Today's show, we are going to be going over the fact that my brother is a Hall of Famer, and I'm proud of it. Also, a very interesting sign that I saw driving in here. I never thought I'd see it, but I have seen it. Also, we'll be going over Fresh Eyes. The biggest comedian of the late 1980s was Andrew Dice Clay, and I had not seen his comedy special for a while, so I asked Alex to join me in watching his first special called The Dice Man Cometh. It was a very interesting experience for me. I wonder what it was for Fresh Eyes for Alex. We'll be doing that later on today. Plus, we'll be going over Bar Thoughts and Experiences. Bar Thoughts today is an unusual situation in which Alex, after drinking, had her or a friend have a little bit of an experience going ordering drunk. And I always think doing anything drunk is always an interesting idea, but Alex tried to do drinking and then ordering, so we'll understand that. Also, I'll be discussing why it's now the first week of June, why I believe summer sucks, and there's some positive things about it in my segment. Sucks, pff, that's great. Or sucks, and that's great. Or great, then that sucks. I don't know. We'll figure it out later. Also, later on, we'll be talking about how country loves drugs, especially after this weekend with Kenny Chesney. Also, the fact, apparently, according to Pew Research, a certain very valuable tool for this show is not very popular with them. Also, we'll be talking about how Pete Davidson might be going a little bit overboard with his new love. Again, my name is Mike Sasson, and right across from me in the beautiful Millvale, Pennsylvania studios at Mr. Smalls Theater is a first ballot Internet Radio Hall of Famer, producer extraordinaire, wearing the black hoodie. I'm like introducing you like you're a boxer. Out of the blue corner, weighing in at 100 pounds, give it up for the Baldwin Bruiser, Alex Clemens.
The Baldwin Bruiser.
I don't know what
that
I
was
would
the
call
best name that you could have given me.
What would you have given you?
I don't know. Maybe something a little bit more badass. I
Like
don't know.
what?
That sounds like a dog.
Well, let me ask you, have you ever, okay, Mike Tyson was just Iron Mike Tyson.
Iron Mike Tyson.
Okay, Sugar Ray Robinson was it was Sugar Ray Robinson, just sugar.
Sugar.
Okay, there was
like that.
Marvelous Marvelyn Hagler. There was the Brown Bomber, Joe Louis. There was Thomas the Hitman Hearns. What I'm getting at is boxing nicknames are not that creative.
I don't like Baldwin Bruiser, though.
Okay.
Maybe I feel like it has
The
to do
South
something
Hills
with my...
Assassin.
I feel like it has to do something with my first name, because those were all like...
The Alex Express Clemens.
Okay, I think they're just getting worse.
I don't know.
It's okay.
Okay. Anyways, it's Alex Clemens. She's right over there. Anyways, thank you very much again. You might be watching us on Facebook Live or YouTube, or you might be listening to us at www.riversedgepgh.com, or you might be listening to us on one of the several podcast formats, either SoundCloud, Google Play, or iTunes. Thank you very, very, very much for everyone who has listened and all that kind of good stuff. One thing that happened to me this past week is I had someone recognize me but not know why she recognized me. So I didn't want to really get into it why. So I was just like, oh, well, thank you for whatever. I didn't know if she had seen me during stand-up, if she had listened to the radio, if she had listened to my show on the internet, if she had seen us at the Millvale Music Festival.
Did you walk her through all of that?
I didn't want to go through all of them because a lot of times it just turns out like they think I'm somebody else.
Yeah, or what if it was just like she saw you at the gas station once?
Yeah, or she just she bought.
And you're naming all these things that you do, trying to sound cool. And she's like, "No, I just saw you at the gas station."
Yeah, I saw you buy Twizzlers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's one thing that, like, I had a person come up to me a couple weeks ago and was talking to me. He's like, "Oh, yeah, I know you're a stand-up. I swear to God, I loved you when I saw you at the Funny Bone back in the day." And I didn't want to go, like, maybe, like, burst this bubble and be like, "I never performed at the Funny Bone."
You're thinking of someone else.
Yeah, and I didn't want to say that.
I hope they're great.
Yeah.
Because, I hope you think I'm great.
Yeah. But I didn't get to that. Has anyone ever thought that you were somebody else? Like, "Oh my God, you're Jenny," and you're just like, "Huh?" And you're just like, "No, Jenny, remember me? We went to Shaler together," or something like that.
No, it's never happened to me.
You're getting more.
People remember my face. I did have someone call me last week, call my store, and I answered, and they were trying to, like, sell us stuff, whatever, blah blah. But I guess they had, like, done research on the company, and my name came up, and they were like, "Oh, so they were trying to sell me stuff," and then they're like, "So you're like part of the music scene and you have your own show, right?" And I was like, "Wait, are you talking about me personally right now? Like, you researched me that much?"
That's what sometimes you do if you're about to call on a company, is you try to find everything out about them. So if you know that, okay, Alex Clemens works at this place, then you do kind of figure out, like, okay. And then if you Googled and you come up, this show comes up,
yeah,
which is always a great feeling.
Which is really weird, yeah, when people call you at work and they're like, she just talks about G-DILFs and DILFs all the time. And
that's one of the things about this show, is that I always sit there, like, people will bring up, like, a show that I did, like, 6 months ago. And then I'll just sit there and they'll just like, "Oh, remember, you were talking about the tiger that had sex with the giraffe." And I'm just like, did we talk about that?
That sounds like something we would talk about.
I'm not doubting that we did do that, but no, that doesn't sound like something we did.
I was on the news last week.
I know you were you were supporting Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
It was cool.
You
I sounded so serious in my interview.
Yes, you did.
During a Mr. Rogers interview. So
you
very
were like
serious subject.
you were wearing glasses and you were kind of looking very math clubby.
I was dressed like Mr. Rogers.
I know, but you were Mr. Rogers wasn't exactly like, I mean, a beautiful man, but dress wise, I would say needs to, maybe not dress like a dork.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like you should take some pointers, Mike.
You think I should wear cardigans? I can't wear cardigans. I'd sweat through them.
Yeah.
He weighed 143 pounds.
Always.
I know. That was his thing. That was I love you.
Yeah.
That's how he did it.
Yeah.
I haven't weighed 143 pounds since, like, first grade.
Yeah, we're all trying to do that at work now.
Weigh 143 pounds?
Yeah.
You'd have to gain a lot of weight.
Yeah.
So you just start eating up. I'm like, I'm going to get to I love you.
Yeah. And I'm going to love myself because of all the food that's in my tummy.
Yeah, there you go. Beautiful stuff. And then also you did another round of modeling for your photographer friend.
Oh, yeah.
So?
I cut my arm really badly on glass.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What? How'd that happen?
We were in, like, an abandoned apartment building, and there's glass and shit everywhere.
Uh-huh.
Cut my arm with some glass. It's okay. It's healing now. I didn't have to get stitches.
Well, there you go.
So,
but
second week in a row that I, like, badly injured myself and was bleeding for a long time.
I know. You were bleeding last week. I'm glad that we have no more bleeding with that. Now, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Now, this is not your first modeling gig. Would you, when models sit there and they talk about, ooh, it's difficult and all this kind of stuff, do you sit there and say, yeah, I can understand why it would be, like, not as easy as people think, or, like, no, it's as easy as people think?
I would say, yes, I can understand why it's not as easy.
Why would you say it's not as easy as people think?
I don't know. I never like what my face looks like. I'm always just like, no, Alex. And it's always afterwards. Like, if I could take a look at every single photo and be like, okay, now this is what I need to do. Like, I'm not very good at that part.
If someone wants to see the photos, where can they find them?
On my Instagram.
Okay. Which one of the new pictures would you say is your favorite?
I'm about to post it this week.
Okay, cool.
Or you can follow my friend Riley Benson on Instagram.
There you go. So if you want to see Alex in her, what do you think the motif is? What would you say is what do you think Riley was trying to get at?
I don't know.
Exactly. That's what
mystery.
It's ambiguous. That's what it is. It's just Alex in amongst urban ruins.
Yeah. That's the title of the album.
Yeah. Is it an album?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll make it an album. Speaking of someone that should get an album, my brother Tim. He this past Saturday, we were all supporting him as he was finally inducted into the Fox Chapel Area High School Athletic Hall of Fame. So congratulations to
That's
Tim.
really awesome.
That's
How do you like? How does that finally happen?
Well, what happened is our old offensive line coach Todd Masick nominated him a couple years ago. And so what happens is that every year you get nominated and then you're in the pool for 10 years, and then they discuss you, and then eventually he got elected. So congratulations to Tim. And he had a tremendous high school football career. Was part of a conference championship team at Fox Chapel, possibly I would say the best team in the history of the school. They also, he was the shot put record holder, went all the way to states.
Oh my God.
And he still holds the record for the shot put at Fox Chapel, even though it happened 20 years ago.
I was really good at shot put. Did you know that?
I did not know. I know you weren't exactly a great runner.
No, I was a terrible runner, but I was great at shot put.
Did you win meets and stuff?
Mm-hmm. Because I was like I only did track for a year. But I was in the very lowest weight category. So it was pretty easy.
There's no weight category in shot put.
Yeah.
Not when I played. I guess maybe they've changed it, but they use like they have heavyweight shot putters now.
That's just different weight classes. I don't know.
I think they made this up just to keep you on the team.
I don't think so.
What grade were you in
I was
when
in
you did
eighth
it?
grade.
Okay, I've never heard of. Now, granted, there's different levels of the steel ball. Like you can have a junior high shot put. There's a female shot put, a high school shot put, a college shot put, stuff like that.
I don't know. I remember there being different classes.
So they would weigh the girls and put them in different categories?
I don't know. I don't know how that worked.
That would be terrible. Could you imagine if, my daughter, if she's, maybe a bigger girl, would be, no, you're in the husky division. That's terrible.
Maybe she's just more muscular and has more muscle weight.
Yeah, that's how eighth grade girls look at it.
Yeah.
That's exactly how they do it. This is terrible. Anyway, speaking, one of the things, we were at the event and it was very nice. I saw my old high school football coach, saw a couple other of my old teachers. It was very, very nice. And so we took some very, very nice pictures. Now, if you can get to the picture with me and my brother.
Yeah. There you go.
There am I. I'm wearing my suit coat jacket. My brother looks like a lounge singer. And the thing that gets me is, after looking at it, I'm trying to get better at something that I've never gotten good at.
What's that? Taking pictures?
Yes, I can't smile. Ever since I was a little kid, any picture that I take in which I smile, like you were talking about modeling, I always feel better when I don't smile. But then when I'm next to someone who is smiling, I look like I'm dour and I'm mean.
You hate life.
Yeah, but I have to.
Do you want to try right now?
Yeah, let me try it right now. Okay.
Yeah. That's good.
I feel I look like I'm faking. I'm just
Yeah, you do look like you're fake. All you have to do is have someone tickle you. Or that's what I do with my mom when I take pictures with her. I just tickle her. Because she always hates what her smile looks like in pictures.
Okay.
Because she does. She feels like it's fake and not genuine. So I always just try and tickle her.
I always try to pretend like I'm laughing.
Yeah.
And then I get that.
Yeah, but it might be weird to ask someone to tickle you.
Well, then how will they tickle me and then run off the camera?
No, if you're taking a picture next to someone.
But what if I'm doing just by myself?
Good luck.
Oh, jeez. But then the other thing,
or maybe have someone behind the camera doing something cute.
But then the other thing about it, which gets me, is they interviewed a bunch of women and they looked at a bunch of pictures and they say when the guy was more like blue steel, kind of giving that look, that the man looked more attractive.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that you were quite giving the blue steel look.
I was trying to somewhat smile in that picture because it was a happy occasion.
Yeah,
I was actually a happy person.
Smile, yeah.
Yeah. But I was terrible.
You're almost there.
I'm almost there. And then also the suit coat. They always make fun of me every time I wear a suit coat that I look like I'm either A, a weatherman, or B, like I'm running for the state Senate.
Oh, you totally look like a weatherman. Or the Senate. I can see both. I can see it.
Not like I'm going for presidency because it's not that nice of a suit coat. But I would sit there and say that, I'm a low level.
If you had a pin on your lapel.
Yeah, an American flag pin.
It would absolutely sell it.
Yeah, then I look like I'm running for the county seat of Clarefield County or something. Yeah. Speaking of that coat, that's a new coat. I got a new suit coat for the event. And again, pointing out how weird my body is, it was difficult finding a suit coat that fit.
Yes.
Because, so I go to the Tall and Fat store.
Okay. Is that actually what it's called?
Well, it's called Casual Male Big and Tall.
Oh,
or actually Casual Male XL. They used to call it Casual Male Big and Tall. Now it's Casual Male XL.
Yeah.
So I get there, and so I go, dude, I need a new suit coat. He's like, all right. So they measure my chest. I have a 52-inch chest. And so they put on a 52 like suit coat, and I'm like, oh, this feels a little tight. I'm like, geez, I can't even fit in what I'm supposed to. And they're like, oh, put your arms out, and like the end of the suit coat goes to like almost like beyond like 3 inches ahead of my wrist.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh no, you need a 52 extra long.
Yeah.
Which is so cool sounding. Like,
super extra.
Yeah, I'm extra long. I'm not even 52 long. I'm 52 extra long because I got super long arms. So then I'm getting that. So then it turns out like in the entire Tall and Fat store, there's like 3 coats that fit me.
Yeah.
And one of them's like purple, and one of them like
you
is
didn't
ripped.
get the purple one?
I should have in retrospect.
Yeah.
But
Oh
like,
yeah, showing up to a Hall of Fame thing, dressed in a purple suit.
but then I got to get purple pants.
Yeah.
And how often would I be wearing a purple suit with purple pants?
Like every day, you should probably just walk around that every day.
If I walk around with purple pants and purple suit on with a purple tie, would I wear a white shirt, or what would I wear underneath?
Yeah, I think a white shirt with
Okay,
white
white
shirt, plain black tie.
Plain back tie, purple on purple.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm walking down.
I could see it.
Would you sit there and be like, damn, that's a good looking big dude?
Maybe, or you might look like Barney. I'm not sure.
Okay.
That's a lot of purple, you know.
I would say probably I'd lean towards Barney. So again, congratulations for my brother. And I'll be honest, we gave a little speech. He was giving off the head coach vibe. Not to scare anybody out of Pine Richland that you might lose your big bad offensive line coach, but he was definitely given the vibe that, you know what, he could be the HC. So who knows? Anyway, so speaking, I was saying there was a weird sign. So I was driving in today into Millvale, and I saw something that I'm having a tough time getting my head around.
I'm really interested in what this is.
Okay. So they have a dollar store near our venue. Mm-hmm. And I drive by it, and there's a big sign that says clearance.
Oh.
Clearance at a dollar store?
That sounds great.
What in a dollar store couldn't they move at $1 that now they have to cut the price?
Wait, isn't it a Dollar General?
One of them. I don't know what the one. There's like 9 of them. There's
What?
Dollar Store, Dollar General, Dollar.
The one close to us, though, I think it's a Dollar General.
Yeah, are they closing?
No, but in a Dollar General, everything's generally $1, not actually $1.
Really?
Yeah, like I mean, there are
I thought that was
obviously
the whole
things
rule
for
of the dollar store is that everything has to be $1 or
the
less.
dollar store, yeah, but Dollar General.
Is that how they get away
Generally
with it?
$1.
We're generally around $1. So, like, what's the most expensive thing they can get in there?
I don't know. I mean, there's pretty expensive things.
What do you
just
mean, like cars and stuff?
Not pretty expensive things, but I don't know. You know, there's like furniture and things.
Furniture in a Dollar
I don't
General.
know. There's like shower curtains and stuff. You know.
That breaks the whole point of a dollar store.
I'm telling you, Mike. That's what it is. That's why they got clearance. But now
So
you
now
can,
it
now
is
you
a
can,
dollar.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Now you can go and see.
Do you
all
think
the
you could
cool-
get like 12 months 0% interest on that furniture?
Yeah, I hope so.
Then you could
I'm
get
going
something.
there though if they have a clearance sale.
Yeah, they had a big clearance
Dude.
sign.
What do you think is on clearance though?
That's what I'm thinking. What couldn't they move at the Dollar General, which apparently they have like Mercedes Benzes in the back?
No.
You know, but again, the whole point of a dollar, I'm really intrigued by the whole concept of how a dollar store makes, because it makes money via just immense volume.
Yeah.
Because if you're selling a pencil for 89 cents, what kind of margin do you have? I mean, like you could say, oh, we got 50% margin. So what, you're making 40 cents a pencil?
Yeah.
How many pencils you got to make so you can keep the lights on?
Yeah, I really don't understand how it works either.
I don't know how anything works anymore.
Maybe you should work for them and figure it out.
But then they show me like, oh, just Dave General owns it and he just funds it through his own money.
Yeah, we're all good here.
Yeah, well, no one cares. He just loves things that are $1.
Yeah. Man, I wish it's not even open anymore. It's not gonna be open when we leave. What if I miss the clearance sale?
What if all the good stuff's gone?
Yeah.
Have you ever
I'm
purchased any?
leaving.
Have you ever like done a cheap like run through like a dollar store? Like
I've
I
gone
remember
to dollar stores all the time. I love dollar stores.
Okay.
That's where I get my plates from.
plates I'd go with, especially since you're young and
They
you're
have
like.
good ass plates. I've had these plates for like 6-7 years. and
There's
they're
a
my
chance
favorite
there's lead in them. There's a chance that there's some sort
No.
of deadly chemical on them.
No. They're really
Yes.
pretty.
I bet you. I mean, I bet you. How did they get to $1? The whole concept, as I understand it, is a lot of the stuff is like they try to sell them to like a big box store, and then they can't. So then like they're like, hey, we got to unload this stuff, and then Tony Dollar from Dollar General shows up and says, hey, I'll buy your truckload. Knock it off 80%, and then he passes the savings on to you.
I think that's. I mean, I think it works. It works. I got some good-ass plates.
I don't know. Who knows? We'll figure it out. If you figured it out, put it down on our comments again on the Mike Sasson Show. And again, like the Mike Sasson Show page. After this break, we're going to be doing bar thoughts and experience with Alex. Well, Alex will be discussing the art, the mystery behind how to order food when you're drunk. And also, I'll be doing my great that sucks about summer. It's the Mike Sasson Show. We'll be right back.
Brian Crawford letting you know that Kevin Slogic, my State Farm agent in Allison Park, is here to help life go right and reminds you that you're listening to the River's Edge Radio Network.
Come on, go, it's green, come on! Go!
God damn it, Brian, you need to calm down
Yeah,
with the road
I'm sick of
rage.
these people, these assholes.
The road rage, man. You gotta calm down on the road rage.
Well, I want to get to where we're going. We have a lot of great stuff coming up. We're going to the Falling Water,
Bicycle heaven.
the Mattress Factory,
Tuck knob.
Trundle Manor. All right, which way do I go? Which way do I go? Come on,
right,
come on.
right.
Too late now.
Right, come on.
Too late now, I gotta keep going. I'm not gonna sit here like some asshole.
Oh, come on, man.
All right, you're listening to the Culture Cruise. You can find us at riversedgepgh.com.
Your local Pittsburgh area museum podcast.
Yes, riversedgepgh.com, and come take a ride with us.
Again, you are listening to the Mike Sasson Show on the River's Edge at www.riversedgepgh.com, where you'll hear the best local music and the best talk. Also, you could be listening to us on the TuneIn Radio app across the planet Earth, or on SoundCloud, Google Play, or iTunes, or you might be watching us on YouTube or on Facebook Live on the Facebook app. Thank you very much for everyone who supports the show and who supports River's Edge. Right now, we will be going into the mind of super producer Alex Clemens when she has her segment, Bar Thoughts and Experiences. Let's play the song.
Maybe y'all can relate. My style's dope any way that you slice it. It's a fresh cut, hope that you like it. About to open up.
All right, Alex, go ahead with the Bar Thought and Experience for today.
All right, Mike. So my friend Eric a couple weeks ago showed me this order from Grubhub.
Okay.
And basically,
Now, Grubhub is what for people that are not as technologically sound as your friend Eric?
Grubhub is a delivery service where you can get food from restaurants.
So what they
Delivered to
do
your
is they
house.
organize all of the restaurants in your area and say, hey, would you like to deliver to these people to make sure they don't have to look at like 19 different menus?
Yeah.
And then you sit there and say, hey, I'd like, not have to look at 1,800 menus in my area.
Yes.
Have them all on Grubhub. So you're like, hey, I want Mexican food. Boom. All the Mexican food that's delivering right now right to your door.
Yes.
Grubhub, I'm your new spokesman. B, Mike Sasson, greatest broadcaster ever. Go ahead, Alex.
Okay, so this guy was super trashed and decided to order food from Primanti's. So this is what the order says. Instructions. Just ruin me with fries, man. Straight up. The girl I like has been playing me. She's sleeping with 2 other security guards over at Ruby. I'm miserable. I'm drinking this handle of Canadian Club. I'm trying to get her face out of my head, and all this fat bastard is asking you to do is just fuck me up with fries. I can drink and eat my troubles away. Thank you, and have an awesome evening. So that was his.
All he wanted from Primanti's was fries.
Just
but
a
like
fuck
an
him- no, he got a sandwich and stuff, but
Yeah.
his fries, he insisted that they fuck him up with fries.
That's
So
one
many
thing
fries
about
that
any
he
sort
forgets
of
his
play.
problems.
One thing that always bothers me about when they make your food, especially when it's like at a Subway or a Get-Go or a Sheetz, depending on who you get this food from, your sandwich and food experience can be varied.
That's very true.
And like sometimes you go to Primanti's and you get someone who just takes a gigantic vat of fries and you're getting like a huge pile of gooey cheese fries and your life is wonderful. And then sometimes you get the woman who just came from training who's like, no, every fry costs us 0.7 cents.
Yeah.
And so like is individually putting them in. Or like Subway, you're like they're individually counting the whatever. There's this place near my work that serves salads. And when I walk in here, there's one lady who loves me, who puts together salads that I literally, I have a tough time finishing. That's how amazingly big these salads are.
Yeah.
And That makes me come back. But somehow, some way, I bet you corporate is going to get a hold of her and say, you can't give that much salad. Even though in terms of total like value to the company, it's like 0.7 cents. Like it doesn't mean anything. One of the biggest things, I remember when I worked at Coca-Cola, one of the biggest gyps we did was if somebody we delivered something and it broke.
Yeah.
What would happen is we'd put on our invoice, quote unquote, damage. So we'd say, okay, there's 5 sodas, it's 70 cents a piece, so you get $3.50 back. Whatever. I don't do the math. Whatever. Who cares? Anyways. So what they did, though, is they started saying, okay, instead of actually giving them a damage allowance, we're going to give them physical 20-ounce sodas. Which, like, the people who were doing it were like, oh, okay, I guess that's great. But the whole point was it cut our costs because to them, that's a 10-cent soda. But what we would tell the person is, okay, this soda, when you sell it, is worth $1.30. So if you have like 4 things at 70 cents, we're going to give you like 2 sodas, and that's going to be equal, even though in value to the company, it was like 20 cents.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, if you see me or Alex, give us some freaking fries.
I just wish that I had the guts and like just was ever drunk enough or maybe sad enough to do something like this. Like I when I'm drunk, I don't do anything that's fun. When I'm drunk and talk to other people in the universe, if I'm alone, I typically just like call people and tell them my whole life story and things that they should not know and don't want to know.
Typically with you and me, when you get drunk, you just call me names.
Yeah, but like if I'm alone, and then I would never first of all, when I order food and I ask for specific instructions, I feel like the most terrible person. I don't know why. Like I always write something really nice and cute. It's just like, oh.
Well, let me
ranch
ask you.
on the
Okay,
side, please. Thank you.
When you see me, like when I go to like a Burger King and I want a Whopper.
Yeah.
I go, please, can I have a Whopper? And on the Whopper, can I have lettuce, tomato, pickles, mustard, onions?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you say that I'm being a prick?
No.
Because to me,
But that's already what comes on it.
No,
isn't it?
they add like ketchup and mayo typically.
Oh.
I try to be as complex as possible. Because like, okay, this happened to me at Wendy's.
Yeah.
I order a chicken sandwich. I say, can I please have, typically I do the same thing, but this time I'm trying to cut down on the order. I go, hey, can you add onions and pickles?
Yeah.
That's all I want. Add the same sandwich, but I want onions and pickles. They go, okay. I get the sandwich. What's on the sandwich? Onions and pickles. And that's it. No dressing, no lettuce, no tomato, nothing. Just onions and pickles. And I'm just like, you have to be okay, I need tomatoes, pickles, mustard, onions, chicken, 2 pieces of bread, make sure that the chicken is cooked. I mean, like, you have to almost be that precise.
It does. Sometimes I do get really upset when people mess up my order. Like, not like mad upset. I get like sad, very sad upset. Like a couple weeks ago, I was drunk and ordered a burger, and it came with pickles on it. And I really wanted those pickles, and I was so excited about it, and I got it, and there was no pickles on it, and I almost had like a mental breakdown about these pickles. I was like, should I go to the store right now? Should I be okay with it? I didn't have pickles in my fridge. I don't know what's wrong with me.
I don't know.
When do you not have pickles in your fridge?
Now, let me ask you, what percentage of the time, when you get something from the fast food, from a fast food joint, and they give it to you in your car, do you check in the bag to make sure that everything's there?
No, I never do that.
See, I have to do that
I'm not
because
that person.
I'll hold up a giant line because I have too many times driven home, I've gotten a salad, no fork.
I have terrible anxiety about holding up lines. Like getting on the bus, like having to put bus money in. I hate it. It gives me anxiety all the time.
I'm not good enough at that, so typically I've spent like $10 to go like 5 stops on a bus. Because you have to have exact change. Or you have
just put it in a $10 bill?
Because that's all I had.
Because you're just loaded.
Well, it was the only thing I had, so I'm like, I
10.
guess this bus trip's is $10. So.
But so this guy left a review for these people because they murdered him with fries.
Really, they destroyed. Okay, see, what happened was they got the 2 stoner kids that really liked it. That's a good.
And I'm sure this was at like 2 a.m. You know. And if I was those people, I would absolutely do it. So he said, you listen here right quick. These are fine people. Fine is in all caps. I ordered via Grubhub, and not only did they take care of me, they took care of my circumstance and fixed me up with some extra fries and a dessert. Did I ask for the dessert? Heck no. But they gave me one anyway. Life sucks right now. I'm going into surgery on June 4th of this year. I'm about half in the grave, but these folks managed to make me smile even once against what I'm dealing with. If it's not worth ordering one goddamn sandwich, I don't know what it is. Thank you and good night. This guy he sounds like a pristine person.
But here's the problem.
What?
From a corporate standpoint, if they read that, they'd be like, why are we giving away free desserts?
Oh.
$20. I know how corporate people think because they're total scumbags. Somebody went to that location and just been like, how many free desserts are we giving away? Maybe that's why we didn't make numbers last week.
See, this is like the review that I strive for when I'm working. Like, I want someone to leave this review for me one day.
If you worked at a restaurant, especially if it's a corporate restaurant, I mean, if it's a if it's a corporate restaurant and they find out that you gave someone a free dessert, you better have a damn good reason.
That's why I don't work for a corporate restaurant, Mike.
I've had too many experiences where someone will just be like, sometimes I've worked for corporate entities where someone will literally call you from another place and ask why you gave somebody like 5 cents off.
Yeah.
And you'll just have to go, well, in this situation, blah, 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 blah.
That's why I got out of the corporate game a long time ago.
Got out of that corporate game. There you go.
Never going back.
Never going back to the corporate game. She likes the internet radio game better. Again, Thank you very much, Alex, for your bar thought and experience.
You're welcome.
Okay, there you go. There was a little bit of a delay there. Anyways, it's the Mike Sasson Show. Now I'll be doing my new segment called Great. That Sucks. Play my song. On this this segment of Great That Sucks, I take on a very popular entity, summer. Summer is here, the time is right, and it's for dancing in the streets.
Spring.
I know, technically, I know. Here's the thing.
I'm very adamant about when my seasons change. I'm very adamant about being correct about that.
Well, I am very adamant with the fact that, okay, when does summer begin? When school ends. When does summer end? When the freaking kids go back to school.
No.
Or when football season starts. When does winter start? When after Thanksgiving. I understand when the winter solstice is, but it's summer. It's June. People are taking their vacations. It's hot outside. That's what it is.
You're not invited to my summer solstice party then.
Oh, okay. Well, was I going to be invited before?
Yeah. I was going to invite every single person I knew.
Okay. Well.
Everyone I know.
All right. Well. Yeah, I might.
Minus Mike.
I might crash it anyway. Anyways, so this is Great That Sucks about summer. What's great about summer? Going out for frozen treats.
Ooh, frozen treats.
I love me some Ritas. I love me some a big soft serve ice cream cone. I love hard ice cream, but going back, getting a giant like soft serve big ice cream cone, there are moments where I will be like, I'll be at work and I'll just be like, I could really go for a giant soft serve ice cream cone. And I go get it, and it's some of the greatest moments of my pathetic life. So, and also I like Ritas. Anyway, so what's great about summer? Going out to get frozen treats. What sucks about summer? It's too damn hot and humid. And also, I'm stating this right now. Between hot and cold, I'd rather be cold than hot.
Oh, I'm the opposite.
I know, but I love to back me up. Recently, in the past week, I've had 5 people complaining how hot it is. I hardly ever get people complaining how cold it is. The only time you get people complaining how cold it is if it's like 0 degrees.
Oh, I get people complaining to me about all of it.
I know. I think
everyone's
people just want
complaining about snow and it's too cold, and then as soon as it gets warm out, everyone's complaining about it's too hot.
I think people just want a reason to talk to you to try to get to that summer solstice party.
Yeah, they're not coming if they're complaining about the weather. I can tell you that.
Okay. So, again, what's great about summer? Women in skimpy clothing. I'm a huge fan of. One of the things that was one of the great moments in college was at the University of Connecticut, and it got warm about, mid-July. The first time it was ever even remotely sunny, all the girls would get into like their short jean shorts and their bikini tops, and they'd be walking around campus, and it was one of those moments when you're just like, damn, it's good to be alive.
Yeah, we used to at Point Park, we would, as soon as it was nice out, every single person that went to Point Park would go to the point and lay out and stuff, and you get to see all hot dudes playing football and stuff, and all the girls are laying out. It's cute.
There you go. And also sundresses. Huge fan of sundresses.
Okay.
Because, like the air, it's just very airy and free and all that kind of good stuff.
Just like might have a little slip there.
That's the hope. Anyways, what sucks about summer, too many people are out. I like to take walks in my neighborhood and just really contemplate life and existence. And when it's a little chilly, it's just me and it's very quiet. But when it's summertime, it's just filled with annoying people walking their dogs, kids riding their bikes, all that kind of stuff. And I can't get my alone time, Alex.
Maybe you should have some human interaction.
Nope.
Mike.
Nope. No human interaction.
Hey, Susan.
No.
Yeah.
That's what it meant. Hey, how are you? I'm like, I'm trying to figure out my existence.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I can't smile.
Go to like the side of a cliff or something to do that.
I should. Anyways, what's great about summer is cookouts. Big fan of cookouts,
Hell
big
yeah.
fan of barbecues. What stinks about summer? The sports suck. As soon as the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup Finals end, sports suck until Labor Day.
But soccer.
I'm trying. I'm really going to try to really like the World Cup. Here's what happens with the World Cup. The first week, everyone gets excited about the World Cup. It's like, hey, the World Cup's happening. The World Cup's happening. And then all of a sudden, I watch a couple games, and I'm like, okay, I'll give it a chance. That NASCAR, every time it's on, I give it a chance. Now, I tell you right now, one thing that was pretty cool, the last World Cup, I visited my sister when she lived in Astoria, Queens.
Yeah.
And like 90% of the people around her were from other countries, and it was kind of cool that like every block there was like a bar that showed that country's game.
Ew.
So like they had little things for that.
That's cool.
Now in Pittsburgh they don't have that because it's not Astoria, Queens. So it'll just be fat white guys pretending to really like England.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's a place in Southside called Piper's Pub.
Yeah, that's the one place.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they'll all be there.
Yeah.
Whereas
everyone will be there.
Everyone
yeah.
who's
like,
anyone.
Soccer.
I know you're a huge
That's what
fan
I
of
do.
the dudes of soccer, but are you
Hell
a
yeah.
huge fan of the game itself?
I mean, it's pretty much how I feel about most other sports.
It's a thing and it happens?
Yeah, and if I don't know anyone playing, I don't really care.
There you go. Do you think it should be played with shirts for skins?
Oh, yeah.
There you go. That's how you make sports better for Alex. More male skin. Anyways, another thing that stinks about summer is sunburn. There is nothing worse in the world as when you could start to feel it, especially since I've got my pale Irish skin, and you feel like, I'm getting that sunburn going, and then you get it, and then you have to go to sleep, and it just sucks. It's just a huge pain in the freaking ass. What's great about summer is I now no longer have to go to football camp. One of the things from my 7th grade year all the way till my 5th year in college, every August, beginning of August, I would have to go to football camp. And for the month of August, it was just pure hell. And so anytime I smell wet grass in the morning, it takes me right back to football camp.
That should be a good, memory.
It was just really hot, and I was wearing a lot of equipment, and you would just be, just running. The games were fun. The fall was fun. August sucks. That's one of the things about, but now they've changed it. We had 2-a-days. We had 2 practices a day. Now they can't do 2-a-days, and then when they do 2-a-days, then they get a day off where they only get 1 a day and all this kind of stuff.
Pussies.
I know. Back then, my first year at Connecticut, we went 3 weeks for every day with 2-a-days. And it really challenged my will to live. What also stinks about summer is everyone's going on vacation. And so if you're not on vacation, then you're just kind of feeling left out kind of deal.
Oh, you gotta have a little staycation, Mike.
I know. Well,
you
I'm
gotta
going
treat
on
every
vacation.
day like you're on vacation.
There you go. Permanent vacation, like that great Aerosmith album that you liked.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
All right. Now, one thing, and I'll leave it up with this. One thing that is great about summer, it gets dark late.
Yes.
I really like it at 9:30 that it's still sunlight out.
I know.
One of the things that's so depressing about winter is when it's 4 o'clock and it's starting to get dark, and you're and you're going to work when it is dark. That just really sucks.
It is hard.
Yes.
It's hard.
And when I was up in New England, up in Connecticut, it got dark at 3:30 in the afternoon.
Imagine living in complete darkness for months. Because places have to do that.
Oh, I thought you were just trying to be like deep and meaningful. Imagine living your entire life in complete darkness. Some people have to do that because they live in caves. And I'm just like, okay, Alex, thank you for that.
No, like, the parts of the world where it's like completely dark 24 hours.
Yeah, but then it's completely light for 24 hours other parts of the year.
Yeah, that's when you party.
That's when you party. Anyways, that was great. That sucks for this time. Now, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to be going with fresh eyes for a very special moment. I actually had Alex watch an entire comedy special of Andrew Dice Clay, the Dice Man, from his 1989 special, The Dice Man, coming from HBO. And we'll be going over the Andrew Dice Clay legacy here in 2018. My name's Mike Sasson. We will be right back.
Brian Crawford letting you know that Kevin Slogic, my State Farm agent in Allison Park, is here to help life go right and reminds you that you're listening to the River's Edge Radio Network.
We are back on the Mike Sasson Show. You were listening to us on the River's Edge at www.riversedgepgh.com or on TuneIn Radio, on the TuneIn Radio app, or you are listening to us on SoundCloud, iTunes, or Google Play, or you're watching us on Facebook Live or on YouTube. So thank you very much for all of the support. Now we go to one of my favorite news segments in which I ask Alex, who is still in the grand scheme of things, one of the young people in the world, about certain things that happened prior to her birth and give a fresh take on something that she might not have a lot of background on. It's called Fresh Eyes. Here's a song I'm not a big fan of. Again, it's Fresh Eyes. By the way, Kenny Chesney was this past weekend. Alex, did you partake?
Oh, no, but I could hear it from my house, so I didn't even have to go there.
There you go. Well,
I saw a bunch of drunks.
There you go. It's a wonderful time.
Crazy.
Big concert weekend. You had Justin Timberlake. You had Def Leppard and Journey. You had
Dave Matthews.
Dave Matthews out in Key Bank Pavilion. Lots of things.
The
Kenny
Arts
Chesney,
Festival.
the Arts Festival.
Yeah.
You had Woodstock. You had Coachella. There was a lot of things going on in Pittsburgh this weekend. Anyways. Something else that was happening in Pittsburgh, but not now, back in the 1980s, was the love of a comedian named Andrew Dice Clay. First and foremost, have you heard of Andrew Dice Clay?
No.
Okay. He's actually a pretty accomplished actor at this point. He was in the television show Vinyl that was on HBO. He was got a lot of notoriety for doing a part in a Woody Allen movie called Wild Orchid a couple years ago, in which he did a part that was initially supposed to go to Louis C.K., but Louis C.K. even admitted that he wasn't right for the part, so they gave it to Andrew Dice Clay.
Wow, what a man.
There you go. Well, he had some positive points. Anyway, so Andrew Dice Clay was a comedian in the 1980s who created a lot of controversy for what most people viewed as very misogynist, very racially insensitive material. But he was incredibly popular. He was the first comedian ever to sell out Madison Square Garden on 2 separate nights. So you think about that. It's like 40,000 people.
Yeah.
He was banned from Saturday Night Live after performing on that and not being able to control his language. And he actually, when he hosted Saturday Night Live, it had the biggest ratings that they had since like the glory days of the 1970s. That's the kind of hubbub he had. And Nora Dunn, who was a cast member at the time, refused to be part of the show that week because she just was so upset with his material. He was banned from MTV. He did the MTV Music Awards, and he actually did his material without editing it, so he did a lot of swearing and all that kind of good stuff. And I really, it's tough for me to really explain how big of a comedian he was in the late 1980s. And one of the things is I had not really seen his material and his specials since I started becoming a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
And so after watching it, I can understand why 12-year-old Mike and 12-year-old Mike's friends really were into Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because he spoke to the 12-year-old boy in every man in the world.
Yeah.
Now, again, you mentioned you did not know who Andrew Dice Clay was.
No, not at all.
So after watching the comedy and you watched the entire comedy special.
Yes.
Did you watch it from? I said you didn't have to watch the beginning. Like there was a little.
Because they're clapping for 50 minutes.
Yeah. Like when he was coming on, one of the things that struck me was I had never seen a comedy show in which the people It was more like a rock concert.
Yeah, I mean, they were like they were saying the jokes along with him.
And also, I had never seen that.
Yeah.
In a sense, they were his jokes to them was like a song from a great artist. Like when they were singing along, they were almost,
I'm surprised no women in the audience were taking their tops off for things. You know?
I bet you in the at certain shows, I bet you they did.
Yeah, because I mean that seemed like the type of audience.
Well, okay, so let's go into it. After watching the show, what were some things that really struck you about the performance and the comedian himself?
The performance,
Did you think he was funny?
No, I didn't at all. There wasn't a point in it that I laughed or laughed internally. And it wasn't because of that I was offended by things that he was saying. It was just that I none of the things that he said, and the poems that he did,
that was his thing. That's what he made his bones about, was those nursery rhyme poems. I mean, they're almost famous for anybody who's my age. You can almost sit there, go hickory dickory dock, at this, and people will finish it for you.
Yeah, I feel like those things would be maybe better, almost better written out, and just if I saw that maybe on a piece of paper, maybe, but just being said at a comedy show and the reaction from all of the audience was absurdly crazy.
Yeah, they weren't just laughing. They were
standing up and cheering after everyone. I'm just okay, guys, I can't even listen to what he's saying.
What do you think it was? I mean, I think part of it was the time, but even I think even today, under certain circumstances and certain audiences, there just seems to be something about certain people that really feel that this guy's machismo is just, I don't give a fuck about anybody, fuck this chick, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. And I think there are men still today, and it's almost, dare I say, what got our current president in the White House, this kind of, you have this ultra machismo, it portrays strength, and people just really react to that.
Well, I feel like a lot of it is that he was saying things that everyone would want to say at some point in their life, but never have the guts to say out loud, especially in front of that many people, So I don't know. I didn't find it funny, but I can understand kind of where people enjoyed it.
Now, there were women in the audience, and they seemed to be from a perspective, what kind of woman do you think would and saying, "Oh yes, this is really my type of stuff," or do you think they were trying to they'd be "Oh, I'm cool, I get it," kind of deal?
I think that is definitely more of what was happening, because I can see in the beginning, there was definitely a certain segment of it where I'm "Oh shit, this is just shitting all over women," but the beginning of it wasn't as much like that, so I could see how you could enjoy some of it, but once he got into that part, I was no.
Now, the thing about Andrew Dice Clay is the fact that he's a famous cautionary tale of be careful what you get famous for.
Right, because then you have to do that for the rest of your life if that's what, and then you have to be that guy and you have to say all these crazy shit all the time.
Well, because the story goes is that, and I Googled it again this week, and so it's again fresh in my mind. What happened with him was he was a pretty decently successful comedian, but he was almost an impressionist.
Right.
And so what the quote unquote character of quote unquote the Dice Man was kind of, he had an impression of Jerry Lewis.
Yeah.
And then this was supposed to be the Buddy Love character from Nutty Professor.
Right.
So it would be instead of being suave and debonair, he'd be a Brooklyn kind of tough guy type deal.
Yeah.
And so what happened is that he went to Los Angeles, and he's getting decent work. And he's getting, he's getting TV gigs, and he was in a couple movies, but bit parts and stuff like that. And then he hit on this one character, which was, and he called him the Dice Man, this guy with the leather coat and the cigarette, and and he viewed it as being kind of I'm being this ridiculous, over the top caricature of a Brooklyn, Jersey, East Coast, guy. Yeah. But people really just loved it. And then he went on Rodney Dangerfield's special back when Sam Kinison hit because of that special, Jeff Foxworthy, so many people that eventually became big in the late 80s and early 90s hit from the Rodney Dangerfield specials.
Yeah.
And he did an 8-minute set where he did, like, you talk about, like, the, very kind of, machismo pro, with the dirty nursery rhymes. And from there, he just absolutely took off.
Yeah.
And then you want to talk about, like, how weird Hollywood can be. He did a show in front of, like, some Hollywood executives at, like, some, like, banquet. And that night, he got signed, and he got the movie The Adventures of Ford Fairlane.
Which is crazy that's how.
That's how quickly it can happen.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of stories like that. That's a similar, like David Letterman, for instance, who's an inspiration of mine. The way he got his TV gig was, again, he was at a banquet. He hosted a banquet. He did very, very well.
Yeah.
And the head of NBC happened to be at the banquet and just signed him to a development deal.
See, this is what's going to happen with you in those horrible charity shows that you have to do, You're going to be opening it up for people with cancer, and then, NBC's going to be there.
Yeah. And then I'll just be late night with Mike Sasson.
Yeah. But,
Yeah.
I mean, I think that he, we talked about last week about how, basically a joke, it has to be funny, in order
A
to...
joke has to be funny. Yes, we discussed how a joke has to be funny last week.
No, but I mean, like... you could say, like,
You can say terrible things if the joke is universally
Right.
acknowledged as being funny.
yeah, and
true.
I think that he's pretty good at that. If you find him funny, then yes.
Was he accurate? I mean, about male-female relationships, about all that?
He said that men don't feel guilt.
Which I think is wrong. I think
don't
certain
agree
men
with
do.
that. Yeah, and he was like, "Oh, women can't have one-night stands because women feel guilt."
Yep.
Okay.
Maybe back in... yeah, that's what your woman keeps telling you. Yeah, I've never had a one-night stand. Yeah, I love that. That's the best reaction ever. Okay.
Yeah. A lot of the things that he said about women, I was just like, this just makes...
What
you
other
feel like
things did he
shit.
say about women? Did you think? I mean, does anything else come to mind other than women
Even just the voice that he did whenever he talked, like in a woman voice.
What's the point of you
Yeah, just like immediately you want to punch them in the face. Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
But I love his accent. Like I love people who talk like that.
What how you doing? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, I love accents.
But again, he was being a caricature
Yeah.
of that kind of machismo and everything like that. Which,
Yeah.
I mean, the funny thing about it is that, like, he eventually... He's almost very similar to, like, how Dane Cook now is trying to rehabilitate himself and try to kind of become more back to, like, his stand-up, Andrew Dice Clay actually did that, because there are a lot of stand-up comics that I've talked to who said if you get an opportunity on a Tuesday night in Los Angeles at the Comedy Store, if they say, hey, Andrew Dice Clay is going to do, like, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Wherever you go, sit there and watch Andrew Dice Clay, because he's still somewhat in that character,
Yeah.
but he doesn't do like poems. He's more just like ripping on himself and ripping on the crowd, and just he's that kind of. He can do like 30 minutes of crushed material like off the top of his head.
My favorite part actually was when he did impressions in the show. That was like my favorite part of it. Not that like I really loved it, would ever watch it again, but like I think that was the funniest part to me, I guess.
And then the other thing about Andrew, like amongst comedians, there's a lot of people that respect. I mean, he got a role in a Woody Allen movie. I mean, you have to be respected to be that.
I mean, the fact that he could do all of this, he could have that much of an audience, and like we talked about before, like people saying his jokes out, and requesting jokes like they're requesting songs. Like that's pretty amazing.
Like one of those famous stories, and I agree, that is amazing. One of the famous stories is that him and Chris Rock went to the same high school just 10 years apart.
Yeah.
And so the famous story is Chris Rock's career wasn't necessarily going anywhere. And so Andrew Dice Clay went into the back of a comedy club in New York City and just sat him down and was just like, okay, here's the deal. I'm not doing the voice. Here's the deal. How do you feel that everybody thinks that you, more or less, the only reason why you have your career is because you're got 10 feet up, Eddie Murphy's ass?
Yeah.
And Chris is like, not real good. He
Yeah.
goes, well, here's what you're going to do. You're going to train for your next HBO special like you're a prize fighter.
Yeah.
And then you are going to get you're going to spend more on a suit than you've ever thought of spending on a suit. And you're going to go there, and then you're going to be ready with an hour of insanely great material, and you are going to walk back and forth on that stage and control that room like no one has ever controlled, and you will get your rightful place as one of the biggest comics on the planet.
Yeah.
And he almost gave him like a pep talk, and from there, Chris Rock did Feel the Pain, which catapulted him for like 5 or 10 years as the best comic on the planet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's one of those things of like his character. It took him a while to like overcome that, like, oh, not that guy again.
Yeah.
But he's kind of got a niche, and he's had a TV show on Showtime that was recently had. And so, and anytime I ever listen to him, like on a Stern or anything like that, he's it's so many insights, because you talk about a guy who's been, I mean, you sell out as a comedian Madison Square Garden twice.
Yeah.
You've got some stories.
Yeah.
You've got some insights.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Alex. That
Yeah.
was Fresh Eyes. Moving on, we're going to news and notes from the world of sports, gossip, and all sorts of other funny stuff. Play the song.
It all starts now.
We were speaking that this past weekend, Kenny Chesney came to Pittsburgh, and they're actually saying that comparative to his other visits, it was quite tame.
Yeah, I could sense that.
Yeah, it was 25. I think people just know that it's maybe even his audience is getting older, or it's just people know that, hey, it's not cool anymore.
Let's just like settle down. I mean, there's still people that go to the concerts, and like someone was telling me, oh, I went last year and I saw these girls drag their friend in, and she was just like passed out the whole time, like the whole show. It's like, what are you doing?
I don't understand.
Why even? You probably paid so much money for that ticket,
I
too.
really, I mean, I appreciate that people want to have fun. I appreciate that it's a summer thing. But I could never. My brothers have done it. My sister. I could just never I could never go pay good money to see someone that I know zero of his songs.
Right.
I have no interest in seeing his songs, just to drink and throw. That's like one of the things. I don't tailgate at football games.
Yeah.
Because I'm there to watch the football game. But these people, I really think they're the type of people that tailgate and don't show up to the football games. That's the kind of people who go to these concerts.
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, if you don't know any of the music, just go and tailgate, and don't pay for a ticket to the show. Stand outside and listen to it. If I can hear it from Mount Washington, I'm pretty sure you can hear it from outside Heinz Field.
Also, speaking of country music, a study was done. They lyrically looked at all of the lyrics. That's how lyrically you do it. And they found which musical genre makes the most drug references. And we mentioned it. It's surprisingly, and not to me, but surprisingly to them, country music had the most drug references in its songs, more than rap, more than rock, more than electronica. Does that surprise you at all that country music, by far, they said, has the most references?
Honestly, yeah. Only because I feel like rap definitely talks a lot about drugs.
They actually sit there and say, if you look at the lyrics, comparatively speaking, it's country music, then rock music. Rap, they said lyrically. Now, there's a chance they tried to listen to it and they couldn't understand what you're saying. But I mean, like they said flat out, which makes the point like that someone was making in the article is, if a parent was driving their kid and the rap song came on, or a rap station came on, they'd be like, oh, I'm not going to have my kids listen to this filth. But then all of a sudden, if the country station came on, they're like, okay, this is good, wholesome, Americana.
Yeah.
And actually, you're making your kid listen to more drug references.
See, I want to know how they did this study. Like, is it based off of, like, how many times in each song that they made drug references?
Yes.
Or just, like, the
they
whole
went line
song?
by line and said how many times they make a drug reference.
Is it, like, is alcohol included in this?
I think they didn't
Drugs?
view it necessarily, but I think they do. Number one was weed.
Okay.
They say they make a ton of weed references. Number two was cocaine. Number three was meth. So maybe they didn't even count alcohol.
Meth.
Yeah.
Who's talking about meth in songs?
I don't know, but apparently in country music they talk a little bit about meth.
I've never heard a country song.
I would beg. Now they talk about that there's something called outlaw country. Outlaw country is the like if you listen to like the radio stuff, that's like listening to like the in sync
right.
of like country music. If you want to hear the real shit, You got to listen to the outlaw country there. They're like, yeah, I'm on meth and I got the PSD and then I'm going to kill myself for my country. Like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, someone please show me this meth song. 'cause
Yeah, I'd love to
really
listen to a country
listen
meth
to
song.
it.
Speaking of country meth, we're on one. A new Pew survey said that kids 13 to 17 do not like Facebook.
Why is that?
I don't know. They don't like it. Here's why. They said that the top app used by kids age 13 to 17, number one, 85% of them said YouTube.
Dude, do you know, like, I was, like, every single kid these days, like, young kid, if they have an iPad, all they do is watch YouTube videos about, like, people unboxing shit and, like, just really weird shit, like, just other people's lives.
Yep.
And, like, doing weird shit.
Yep. YouTube is the number one, 72%. It says Instagram, 69% Snapchat. 51% of kids 13 to 17 say they consistently use Facebook, and they said, and if the kid's family makes more than $75,000 a year, that drops to 36%.
Huh.
Now, here's why they said that the study says why this is happening. Kids want highly visual, easily browsable.
Yeah.
They say Facebook has too many words.
They don't have the attention span.
Yeah,
for
they
it,
want just picture, video.
That's really how I'm getting now. Like, I barely use Facebook anymore. I usually use it for, obviously, this and to, like, look at my memories. But other than that, I don't really use it that much. I don't look at it.
I would say my number one app out. I like Facebook because you get to read certain things because I'm a reader. How about that? In 2018, you're like a dork. Like, yeah, I like Facebook and I like to read. But my number two is Instagram.
Yeah.
Because Instagram, again, pictures. But I will just plead with me. Please remove. I'll have a Facebook, have an Instagram where you can, like, okay, I'm over 18. Let me see the nipples. Why are we just banning the nipples? I'm not a big fan. Because then they all have to, like, scratch them out and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, what, are we 9? We have to pretend we can't. We see practically everything else. We just can't. Ooh, if we see these nipples, then our heads will explode.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what
They have to
happened.
literally take lines, like, and I'm just like, oh my God, so dumb. But again, apparently that's what kids want. They want just easily browsable, all that kind of good stuff. So
That makes sense.
yeah, who knows? Anyways, moving on. You have a couple tattoos.
I do indeed. I just got my eyebrows kind of tattooed today.
There you go. Well, let me see. What do you mean you got your eyebrows? Like, are those? That's real hair, right?
Ah.
No way.
Well, I mean, no, they're not. I mean, like, I still have my real hair, but it's like more.
Oh.
It's really crazy. They basically just like scratch little lines into your face with ink.
Okay.
It's crazy.
Now, of the tattoos that you have, you don't have to go individually, but are there any that you now kind of regret?
No. I don't particularly like I like that I got my one on my side, but I don't particularly like the inside of it. But it's like really easily fixable.
It's essentially the Dalai Lama, a quote from the Dalai Lama.
Yeah, the quote's amazing.
Yeah.
But there's like this shading part on the inside that I'm not. There's like little tiny stars.
Did you read? This was again weird stuff that happens when you start reading stuff.
Okay.
That the Dalai Lama, when he was here in Pittsburgh, this was like in the late '90s, claimed that this, because of the three rivers, that this is actually one of the spiritually centers of the universe.
I can feel it.
There you
But
go.
you almost made me have a heart attack though when you said the Dalai Lama was in Pittsburgh. I'm like, oh my god, did I miss that?
That's one of the goals of this show, is if I will pull any string if the Dalai Lama is coming, to get Alex to meet and possibly interview the Dalai Lama.
Yes. And
If you-
I'll tell him a pizza joke.
And he'll just look at you and just be like, yeah,
He'll
there you
laugh.
go.
That's
Yeah.
not his laugh.
That's
but-
not his laugh. That's his
He
polite,
has-
you're a weirdo
He
laugh.
has an adorable laugh.
There you go. You know who else should probably have an adorable laugh is Pete Davidson. Now, I was mentioning from that Saturday Night Live, he's dating for about the last month Ariana Grande, who
Yeah.
before was dating Mac Miller from Pittsburgh, and so
Right.
she had gone to like Steeler games and stuff like that. Well, Pete Davidson has 2 new tattoos that he showed yesterday on Instagram. One is Ariana Grande's initials on his finger, and also the butterfly symbol on the neck. Alex, they've known each other they've been dating for a month. Are they really at tattoo level at this point?
That's pretty crazy, but I don't. It seems like he has a lot of tattoos. But I mean, at least they're not like it's not like a giant heart with her name in it. Something that you can't maybe cover up.
I don't know. A butterfly on a dude's neck is pretty hard to cover up.
I think it's actually like her symbol because of how she wears her hair. It's not a butterfly.
I don't. But it's just. I understand marrying a girl, having a kid, but a tattoo that's like super serious. I don't get that.
Super serious.
I mean, you can't get rid of that real easy.
Just knock her up. Why'd you even get a tattoo?
Yeah.
Just knock her up.
That's what I mean, again, that's how that's the kids these days. I don't understand it. Now, have you ever had someone in your life get a tattoo that you sat there and looked at and like, hey, I got this tattoo, and you're like, ooh, that wasn't a good idea?
No.
Every tattoo you've ever seen by any of your friends, you'd be like, awesome idea.
Yeah, a lot of my friends, like a lot of them don't have a lot of tattoos. So, and if they do, I most likely went with them.
Okay.
And I would have talked them out of it. It was a bad idea.
Like, what idea have you ever heard where you've just been like, that's an awful idea?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
Okay.
No one's ever told me terrible ideas.
Really? Every
Yeah.
idea that you've ever heard about a tattoo was an outstanding idea.
Yeah.
There you go.
But the only thing is that people always are, they always say like, oh, no offense, but like I want mine to really mean something to me. It's like, how am I not supposed to take offense to that?
I love that sentence. No offense, but I think you're a fat bastard and I hope you die. I'm
Yeah,
like, okay, just because you say no offense. That's like the old joke, in Ricky Bobby. I said no offense. It's in the Geneva Convention.
Yeah.
You're like, but people do that. No offense, but I think your town sucks and I hate you and I hope you die. And you're just like, dude.
I want really meaningful tattoos. Like I have thought about them for years, and it'll probably take me years to get more, like to get it. I'm like, okay, well, that's you.
Minor meaningless tattoos.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Not meaningless. They, symbolize a certain time in my life.
There you go. She had a big old tattoo of the do you have a taco tattoo yet?
No, I do, but like my dinosaur tattoo, I'm gonna get him holding a little tiny taco because it's just how cute is that?
It's just why not?
It makes me want to cry when I think about it.
There you go. I mean, who knows? Be 90 with a taco and a dinosaur tattoo. Who
Yeah.
wouldn't want that? Anyways, moving on. Terrible tragedy. Not tragedy. Hopefully it isn't a tragedy, but it might be a tragedy. Volcanoes in Hawaii.
Oh.
Lots of horrible things happening.
That's not good.
But apparently, hopefully, one of these volcanoes takes out a guy who asked an absolutely stupid question of the volcano people in the government. I don't know what the name of the organization is, but there's apparently like a volcano organization. So he tweeted, and it's a he, it has to be a he, who tweeted, hey, by the way, is it dangerous if you roast marshmallows over an active volcano?
I'm glad that his concern, though, was would the marshmallows be poisonous?
Yeah, not that the fact that you're putting maybe dangerous gases in the world and there's like, it's destroying a community. It's will it make the marshmallows taste funny?
Also, their response doesn't say, like, you're going to die from the volcano. It says they would taste bad because like all the chemicals that are there. Like, they would taste bad.
Not don't go up to an active volcano, moron.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they want him to go up to him. Like, yeah, dive in, see what's up.
See it? Yeah.
Yeah, do it. It's so weird that, like, I don't know. I understand that you want to live near the ocean, but when you do live near the ocean and there's a hurricane, I kind of don't feel bad because like you live near the ocean. They give us hurricanes. That's what happens.
Yeah, but I mean, you get to go with the bad. You get to live near an ocean and look at it every day.
Yeah. That's the same, but that's how I kind of feel about like the whole active volcano thing. You live in Hawaii. There's volcanoes in Hawaii. The whole island is essentially built on, because of a volcano. If there's lava, it's kind of on you. But then the other thing that's bothering me is the fact that there was like a big map on the news where like, okay, this highway is completely covered in lava. If this highway gets covered in lava, these people will have no exit, and there's still people like hanging out at their houses.
They're ready to die, I guess.
Yeah, I guess, you know what? If lava fills your room, then you know what? If you stayed, you're the dumbass. That'll be my new segment. You know what? You're the dumbass.
Could you just imagine working for this USGS Volcanoes, though, and having to answer stupid-ass tweets like this? You're like some kind of like legitimate scientist, and you have to answer this dude's tweets.
Because I bet you $20, there's somebody who sits there. I bet you they got the tweet like, this guy's a freaking moron.
Yeah.
But then they were like, no, you have to answer his question
Yeah.
because if you don't answer it and he roasts marshmallows and he freaking dies because he inhales toxic fumes, then they
sue
could
us.
sue the freaking government. That's
Yeah.
how all of this stuff is happening.
Yeah.
It's all about lawsuits. It's all about covering up your butt to make sure that some doofus doesn't try to roast marshmallows over an active volcano.
This is also why Twitter's stupid.
But apparently, yeah, Twitter's not even in the top 5 of those kids. All right, so
No.
I mean, that's you talk about reading. The whole point of Twitter is reading.
Yeah, that they do not have the attention span for that.
How about the fact that someone at Twitter has to sit there and like they're in a meeting and they're like, why don't they like Twitter? Because you have to read. And you're just like, okay, how do we make it that you don't have to read in Twitter? And they're like, literally, that's somebody. That's why, and I go back to that. That's why, if you, like, everyone wants these tech jobs. And like they're talking about Amazon and they're like, can we come to Pittsburgh? And someone wrote this story. It's like, you realize Amazon is just a website.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're acting like these guys make cars.
Yeah.
Okay? They're a website that you get, clothes and books out of. What happens if someone else decides just to do it better than they do?
Right.
And, all of a sudden, guess what? Those 50,000 jobs, we can't have them anymore. And that's, I mean, you think about someone who ran MySpace at one point. That person probably got mad dough, and then all of a sudden this other guy shows up and is like, yeah, but ours is blue and white.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I guess our life sucks.
I really miss MySpace.
I know. I had MySpace on. I had to get it because of a school project when I was at Connecticut School of Broadcasting, and I had literally 4 friends on my MySpace.
Oh, you couldn't even have a top 8. Damn, that's depressing.
Yeah.
That's sad, Mike.
Yeah, well.
That was like the best part of of MySpace was the top 8 and then having songs on your profile.
That was the problem with MySpace is there was too much shit on it, they said.
But you could learn so much about a person from immediately just going to their profile. Who they're friends with, like, oh, I didn't know that person hung out with that person, And then you could put people, like my sister was talking about how she had this friend like from out of state and she felt so cool having him like on her top 8 because no one like at her high school knew who he was, And then having songs like obviously, the songs that people like are going to say a lot about them, and you have to pick very specific songs to go in your profile. Like, I really miss it. It's a way easier way to like creep on people.
Yeah, and now Justin Timberlake, I think, owns it and is trying to turn it into like a music thing. Because bands apparently, because they get to play the music, liked MySpace.
No.
So
I wish it could go back to how it was.
Someone who else would like to go back into the past is this gentleman. That 10 years ago, I guess this past May, a couple weeks ago, they celebrated a holiday called Bitcoin Pizza Day.
What?
All right, so here's what happened. So this guy goes on, like this is the early days of Bitcoin.
Okay.
And he sits there and goes, okay, I have 10,000 Bitcoin points or whatever Bitcoin is.
Yeah.
And he sits there and goes, I will trade someone these 10,000 Bitcoin points for 2 large pizzas. Now, at the time, Bitcoin, it was just meaningless. So he was just like, yeah, I just want something for this crap.
Yeah.
And so somebody said, yeah, I'll get you. Give me those 10,000 Bitcoin points and I'll get you a pizza.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, I get 2 large pizzas. Sweet. Guess what guess 10 years later how much that Bitcoin was worth now?
$1 million.
$82 million.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yes. So if he would have just kept that Bitcoin money instead of getting 2 large pizzas, he would currently have $82 million.
I hope that was a really fucking good pizza.
My point is, I still don't I've had people that have tried to explain to me why this is worth $82 million. And because it really comes down to they've tapped into something to where the only reason why any money is worth it is because we all agree that it is.
Right.
And so why is Bitcoin worth something? Because we've all collectively agreed that it is worth something.
Even though I've never met anyone that could explain it to me, or like every single person that I talk to, they're like, I don't know what the fuck
It's
that
internet
is.
money.
Yeah.
That's all I've gotten. It's internet money. The whole point is supposed to be in the future, instead of having to worry about exchange rates or all this other kind of stuff. If you want to buy something off a website in China, you don't have to worry about, do I have to transfer money from, dollars to yens or whatever they have. You just go, it's 50,000 Bitcoins. Boom, there's 50,000 Bitcoins. I get it.
Yeah. Having like a universal.
Yeah, your universal currency.
Yeah.
So But again, this guy basically bought two pizzas that are currently worth $82 million.
I'm so sorry, man.
That's one of the things that always, like, everyone always has those thoughts of, like, you know, what if I would have bought, you know, Apple in 1982 or all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't, because you're not paying attention to that stuff. You're just the dude who works at Sunoco. You're not paying attention to the fact that, like,
I could have been a millionaire.
I could have been a millionaire if I did that. No, who cares? But a guy who spent $82 million on pizza, that's kind of weird. Big, huge beer fan over here, Alex, right?
Yeah.
So you've never.
I
have
just
you ever
said that like a
Carvel?
12-year-old girl.
I know.
Beer
But
fan? Yeah.
Yeah, but the beer is for a 12-year-old girl. Did you see? I don't know. You grew up in Pittsburgh, but I don't remember if they were Carvel ice cream. That's more out east.
Yeah,
like
I don't
in Jersey
remember
and
that.
New York. But anyway, so it was a big deal back in like New Jersey. Like my parents, my grandparents lived in New Jersey, and they always had commercials for Carvel ice cream cakes. And they were a big thing. And the big thing was Fudgy the Whale. And so what this company has started to do is now they have Fudgy the Beer. So now they have a beer based on the ice cream cakes that have chocolate crunchies and fudge in the
Chocolate
beer.
Crunchies. Wait, what? It's like made with those things.
Yeah,
it's not
it's-
actually like you wouldn't drink it and there's like little chocolate crunchies.
There's little chocolate crunchies in the beer.
You drink the little chocolate crunchies.
Apparently, that's how they describe it.
Huh. I don't know how. I feel like maybe if you put it over, like, if you put this over some ice cream.
Well,
be a
they do say
delicious
that they
treat.
are selling at the place you can make milkshakes out of this.
Yeah, that would be really delicious. I don't think I could drink maybe like more than 4 sips of this.
I mean, I can imagine it's incredibly rich.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't buy a case of it. Maybe one to try in my life.
Yeah. What is the weirdest beer you've ever tried?
I tried, what was it? It was an Old Bay seasoning beer. Mm-hmm. It was delicious. I loved it.
What was it supposed to be drinking of? What was it supposed to be? What's this, Old Bay?
Yeah, like the seasoning.
Okay. No, I don't know.
You don't know what Old Bay is?
No.
You know, you put it on like seafood and stuff.
Okay. No.
my
So it was
God.
like a seafoody type beer?
No, the seasoning is like kind of spicy.
Okay,
like,
well, I don't
has
know
a
about
certain taste. It's just Old Bay.
Okay.
There was that, and then there was some other. There's like, I really like habanero ones.
Okay.
They're spicy.
I
They got a
had
little
recently
kick at
just
the
ate
end.
like a fruit flavored beer, and I was a big fan of it.
You ate a fruit flavored beer.
I drank a fruit flavored beer.
What kind of fruit was it?
It was like multiple, like a fruit punchy type.
Ew.
Yeah. It wasn't bad. It was still beer.
Yeah, those
All these
ones
are still beer. Like always like, oh, it's got a minty, blah, and I'm just like, this is beer.
You're gonna get drunk off it. I had a beer last week. It was some blueberry thing, and it was kind of weird. It was a little like thicker, but it was like, I don't know, 8% alcohol, and it tasted like you were drinking juice. It's like, okay, sounds good to me.
That's one thing about like the alcohol is when they kind of make it like it tastes too like fruity, and you're just like, okay, I could drink too. This is too quickly. I'm gonna drink this, and I'm gonna get screwed up too quick.
That's what happened when you had that comedy show after Trump won. The brewery downstairs, I had like 4 of these cranberry sauce like beers.
Yeah, you were
And-
funny that night.
Yeah, and they're
You were
like
you were a
12% alcohol.
All of the people were a big fan of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they gave me 2 free beers. Thank you for much of that place. And I'll be honest with you, I was flying.
Yeah.
I did not know that those things had like 12% alcohol.
Yeah, so just imagine, I already drank before that.
Yeah. You were so like, as Mike, here's the person that's the place. And I'm just like, hey, Alex. And you're just like, I love everybody here.
No,
that
I
was-
do have like a 15-minute video of me walking from that bar to like the main part of Lawrenceville, and me just screaming random shit at people.
That's usually what happens to me. I was sorry you called me a stupid mother effer that day. Anyway, speaking of stupid mother effers, a girlfriend posted a picture from her boyfriend. It was a picture of him who apparently had never had a Kit Kat before.
Oh,
And so
where have you been all your life?
I don't know, but apparently, so she says, Harry, you don't want this Kit Kat? He goes, oh, I've never had a Kit Kat. And I'm showing a picture of it, Alex, describe how the man ate the Kit Kat.
He just took one large bite out of the whole thing.
Is that how
Did
you
not
would...
break it off at all.
That's the point. A Kit Kat, the point of a Kit Kat is you break it off into little kind of chocolatey spheres, like in any of the. It just you break off a piece of a Kit Kat bar.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if I was eating this and I was gonna eat it like him, like wouldn't you be like, why are there are these like ridges in this chocolate? Like, why isn't it just a flat piece of chocolate? You know?
Mm-hmm. Now I
It's
would
made for
okay.
something?
So here's the deal.
What?
So the girlfriend posts this and says, "This is what my boyfriend how he ate a Kit Kat," and Twitter went nuts with like literally thousands of people saying, "Dump him."
Yeah.
Says that any man
That's a
that
little
eats
extreme.
Kit Kats like that is not worth your time.
That's like people with OCD. Like that doesn't bother me when people eat things like that or like leave things like mildly out of place. That doesn't bother me.
Now, have you ever been with a guy and the person has done something, you're like, okay, this person's nice, but they've done one thing. They did one thing, and eventually you're just like, nope.
Typically, it's noises for me because I hate all noises.
Okay.
So,
what noise was made?
if someone's like a horrible chewer,
Like you'll
Like,
be at dinner,
really
like, oh,
horrible.
this is a good-looking dude, and then like,
yeah, oh, okay, bye.
and have you
I'm
ever
not
just
staying through dinner. Goodbye.
you've just, but you know, like, okay, this is going nowhere. I can't possibly stay for that.
Yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't. I would stay because I'm too nice of a person.
But you
Probably
know
just
that it's
end up
not
marrying
going-
that person
Yeah.
regardless, and I just hate them for the rest of my life because
Yeah.
I can't stand how they chew.
Yeah, I mean, one time I was actually having a very good conversation with a young lady, and I think she said something like derogatory about, I think it was out of town, and she had like a derogatory thing. She goes like, oh, you know, like out of the blue, she's just like, yeah, I just hate Pittsburgh. And I'm just like, all right, thanks,
Nope,
bye,
bye.
See ya. I'm not saying you have to love the town, and I also don't think you have to love football or anything like that. But if you're just like, you know what, all football players are dumbasses, I'm like, not all of us. I think. Thank you very much, that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. But you're saying for a dude, any weird noises.
Yeah.
What else could a guy do that could really kind of hurt you? Would it be okay? Says something insanely racist. Choose weird.
Which one's worse?
Yeah.
Chewing.
Okay. Someone who doesn't pick up the check. Chewing.
Oh, definitely chewing. I pay for things all the time.
Okay, but
I'm loaded.
But I know you're a baller. But let's say he doesn't even bring it up. Doesn't even no, he's expecting you to pay, and he just gets up.
Nope, still chewing.
What's worse than chewing?
Really not.
Steals money out of your bank account.
Okay, yeah, that would be worse,
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah. You're still not 100% sure.
yeah. I'm honestly like I'd rather you steal money from me than be a terrible chewer. Unless it was a lot of money, that I might go back on that.
There you go.
I just chew your food right.
Yeah.
Just don't chew at all, or just don't. Maybe we should just not eat together.
What is the one food? See, because my thing on like you're big on tacos on first dates.
Mm-hmm.
I think tacos are okay. You got to make sure that
Yeah.
I would say you got to go soft because I don't want the hard crunching and everything falling apart type deal.
See, on dates, I don't feel like it's as bad because typically, you're in a restaurant and there's tons of things happening around you to where I'm not really paying attention to how that person is chewing.
Uh-huh.
But if I'm just sitting next to someone and they're chewing, or if someone's chewing in my ear, no.
Chewing or drinking weird because I can't. Anybody who
Both. They're terrible.
slips that kind of stuff, I'm like, I can't deal with that.
Yeah, I can't deal with that either. Or really people who make any noises like tapping or clapping or snapping or whistling. Just don't do it.
Don't just make any noises.
Yeah.
Honestly, you needed like date a corpse.
I mean, I feel like people in my life have gotten used to it. They've like just feel so bad about what they do now. Like they feel so bad about chewing that they're like very concerned about it everywhere in their life. So I feel like I've just made people better people,
And that's what it is about me being with Alex. You just become a better person.
Yeah, overall better person.
There you go. That is News and Notes. Thank you very much to everybody out there. Now we go to our last segment, Comment Your Ass Off. If you commented on the show, we will comment away. So thank you very much to that. And did we have any comments?
Yes, we did.
Okay, then play the song and let's go for it.
Okay.
Say hello to the world. Say hello to the
Again, this is where we respond. And by the way, if you comment during the week, we will comment back as well. And so thank you very much to anyone who does comment. Go ahead, Alex.
Not very many comments, but from our favorite commenter ever, Sam.
Hi, Sam.
He asked about our guest shows, guest stars, which we don't have any, but we will soon.
There you go.
You just wait, Sam.
Yeah, it is
and they're gonna blow your socks off.
There you go.
If there was a rehearsal for the show, we don't rehearse for the show. We barely see each other. We come in here and say like 3 words to each other and then do a show.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah.
You know, we do it. We do it every week.
One of the things that is kind of funny to me is the fact that when people will sit there and go, "Where's Alex?" And I'm like, Alex barely can stand
Like we
me.
have to go everywhere together.
Yeah.
That's like Mikey and Big Bob. Mm-hmm. One of them, I don't remember which one, came into our store last week.
Skinny or fat?
No, I didn't see them, so
Okay.
I don't remember. But one of them, I think it was Mikey, came into the store last week, and all of my coworkers were like, "Oh, why weren't both of them here?" I'm like, "You do realize they have to be together every single day in the morning? Like, do you really think
For the
that
last 15 years.
Yeah, and like, yes, they are like really good friends, but do you think they want to be together every single second of their lives? And like, they have to go everywhere together just because they're on the radio together? No."
One of the funniest moments when I was on the Kren show was we were like, Jim was on like KDKA this morning, which you've been on, and so we walked from the Q92.9 studios to downtown, through downtown to Gateway Center where they were doing it.
Yeah.
And then after he did his segment, me, Terry, and Wasaki were all together because we needed to go to a meeting, like one at the Center City Tower, near where you work there.
Yeah.
And so we're walking down the street, and this was when the ad that we had for the show was on there, and in the show and the ad we were all walking in the show, and so it was so funny because like somebody like was waiting for the bus and looked at us and went, "It's just like the commercial." And we're just like so weirded out because we're like, "Oh, okay."
That's amazing.
Yeah, but yeah, so it's
I mean, you guys shouldn't all walk in a straight line together.
Yeah, we
Were
should.
you wearing the suits though?
We were not wearing the suits, but it's still, we all were kind of walking in a pack.
Yeah.
And so people were just like, "Where the heck is that person?" But every time someone does say, like, "Where is Alex?" I always sit there and just be like,
She has a goddamn life.
I'm the one who does it. I'm the one who calls her, hey Alex, wanna hang out? And they're like, "No, screw you, I hate you," click. So, but no. So if you do ask where Alex is, I always answer the thing. I always answer, I go, living her life.
Yeah, she's doing it up.
She's living
somewhere
that life.
else but here.
There you go. Thank you very much for everyone. And it's always a special moment when we end the show because we want to thank everyone for listening. And thank you to the River's Edge. Keep listening to the best local music and the best talk at www.riversedgepgh.com. We'll be back next week with more wild, wonderful, wacky stuff. That's all this show is. It's just wonderful, wacky things. See you later. Bye.